Well, good morning. Today is the 12th day of November. The time is 10 o'clock. The Board of Commissioners is in session to conduct its weekly open business meeting. All three commissioners are present. We'd have you identify yourself, starting over here.
Adam Schroeder, West Mosquito.
Rob Brown, Treasurer's Office.
Tim Klein, Treasurer's Office.
Bob Carney, Operations.
Tim Sturgis, Clerk's Office.
Kathleen Ireland, Assessor's Office.
Rachel Hanoud, Assessor's Office.
Saul Seiler, Elections. Bob Perkins, Ada County Procurement.
Josh Brown, Operations.
Elizabeth Duncan, Communications.
Real IT guy.
Treasurer, Polk County Clerk.
Beth Mott, Treasurer.
Well, thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
To the daily, please.
Okay, I see we need to, I'll accept the motion to amend the daily agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we remove the 10:30 of legal executive staff session because we're going to just remove it from the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The 10:30 legal staff executive session is removed from our agenda. Okay, now we have no old business that needs to be brought up. So we'll start right in with new business. We have a couple of resolutions. I'll open the public hearing on resolution number 3137, a resolution adjusting the Ada County budget to reflect the receipt of unscheduled revenue to local assistance and travel consistency fund. Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, I'll close the public hearing on resolution 3137. Call for a motion.
I'll move to approve resolution number 3137 as listed on the agenda.
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I'll open the public hearing on resolution 3142, a resolution for the destruction of documents from the assessor's office. Okay, any questions or issues on this item?
Mr. Chairman, they might just explain the process that we go through to destroy documents. There is a legal process for doing that. It might be useful for them to explain.
And we always follow along. Well, anybody want to explain the process? Go ahead.
You know, I can't speak fully on the process specifically. I know this is in regards to 2019 DMV documents,
Okay.
miscellaneous documents that we're just looking to destroy.
All right.
And this is, just to
Go ahead.
amplify that we don't just willy-nilly destroy documents. There's a process for.
Process, and we have to keep it a certain time frame, and once that time frame's up, then we can destroy it, or we have to pay for storage. So we'd rather just as soon destroy it if nobody has any issues with it.
Right.
And this has been public for a while. If anybody had any issues, we'd have heard about it. All right, is there any further discussion? Okay, I will close the public hearing on resolution 3142. Call for a motion.
I move that we approve resolution 3142 as listed on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, next up, we have a resolution number 3143, a resolution for the sale of personal property. A couple of vehicles and some furniture. You want to give us a little update on that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, this is the sale of two old Chevrolet trucks and one old dump truck that'll be going to the auction, and also a number of office items, office furniture items that are no longer used by the county. So as such, it needs to go to auction, and that's what this resolution's for.
Okay, any other discussion on the, again, this is all legal procedure that we use to dispose of property that the county no longer has use of. All right, I'll close the public hearing on resolution number 3143 and call for a motion.
Move to approve resolution number 3143 is listed on the agenda.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have a fire protection annexation into the Star Fire District. The approval of order of annexation of Terra View LLC property into the Star Fire District. I guess I'll open the public hearing on that. Any questions or anything on that? Nope.
Just an explanation. This is again, a process. They applied, we have to approve it, and we've looked at the material and they've asked for it. We're not just willy-nilly approving or putting something,
Yeah, we don't-
somebody someplace that they
We
don't
don't
want
have to approve it, we have to consider it.
Exactly.
We can approve it or not. Well, I think we'll probably approve it.
That's why it's before us. We
Yeah, that's
can't
why it's
deny it
before
or
us.
approve it.
Because it is a change of it puts some property into the Star Fire Protection District. Any other questions?
And they are in agreement that they want to be.
Well, the other ones that asked us to do it. Okay, I will close that public hearing on the annexation and call for a motion.
I move to approve the order of annexation of the Terra View LLC property into the Star Fire District.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have, procurement, well, Bob. Hello. We have procurement up. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. This is in regards to the review of bids received and award recommendation for goods and services less than $250,000, and this is for bid 26012, Ada County Sheriff's Office Toyota Vehicle Purchase 2026. And we received 2 responses for this project, and we do have a recommendation of award letter for your consideration.
Okay. Go ahead, read the letter.
Okay, letter dated November 12th, 2025, to the Board of Ada County Commissioners from Ada County Procurement regarding bid 26012. Dear members of the board, Ada County Procurement received 2 responses for bid 26012. The following are the names of the bidders and the bid amount submitted. Bidder number 1 is Arkin Logistics, and they have a total bid amount of $156,000. Bidder number 2 is Peterson Toyota, and they have a total bid amount of $118,465. After reviewing the bid submitted, it is the recommendation of the evaluation group to award the purchase order to Peterson Toyota as the lowest responsive bidder in the amount of $118,465.
Okay. Any questions? Yeah, I'd accept the motion.
I'll move to accept the recommendation of the evaluation committee and award bid 26012 to Peterson Toyota in the amount of $118,465.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Any further discussion? Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Commissioners.
Okay. Next up, we're privileged to have with us our distinguished clerk, Mr. Trent Trumbull.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've got a lot of certificates for the board to sign today for the canvassing. Prior to that, obviously, there needs to be a motion, but I can talk generally about some things that happened in the election prior to the canvassing.
Sure.
We had a 30% turnout, 29.6% turnout for this election, which was really good. I know a lot of people want to say, well, that's not a very high turnout compared to like a presidential contest, but if you compare it to previous year's primaries, in 2024, the primary, we had 22% turnout. In 2022, we had 31.8% turnout. So it was a really good turnout for this style of election, the municipal election, nonpartisan. So we're really happy with that. We had turnout as high as 55% in some precincts with some of the contested races and some of the bond measures that were on the bond. So District 6 particularly had a very high turnout with 40+%. 81,000 voters overall out of 274 eligible voters. That's not all of the voters that are registered because there were some places that didn't have anything to vote on. The other interesting thing is I've had some comments from candidates and others. In our reporting now, we report undervotes, and that always brings up questions. Like, well, how come someone voted for this and not for this contest, i.e. they undervoted and didn't vote in a particular contest? That's the age-old question, why voters vote the way they do. Some of this, there was maybe a little bit of confusion on some of the vote for 2, where someone might have only voted for 1 when they could have voted for 2. So a lot of education going on with some of the voters on this, and because we're putting this information out there, it spawns those conversations, which are good. But our goal for every election is every eligible voter has access to the ballot and their vote is counted properly. I'm happy to say that we achieved that goal this election. Robust election day voting, 53,000. Absentees, 15,000, and early voting in person, 12,800. All of that on top of doing all of this in a new space is a testament to Saul and his crew. Saul's here. They had to do a lot of things differently than we normally do, and to be able to do all of that and ensure the accuracy and transparency was there was a huge lift for their team. So I applaud their efforts. We got great feedback from the media who covered. They were blown away by the transparency. They seemed globbed onto the 59 cameras that we have in the warehouse. That seems to be like a candy store for them, to be able to see everything in the warehouse at one time, but to also see the process. And we've received good reviews from the citizens as well. There's always one or two complaints about placement of signs at precincts and different things like that we handle on election day, but that's pretty par for the course for an election. So overall, very successful election. Again, shout out to Saul and his crew for the effort that they put into pulling off a successful election. So are there any questions from the board?
Go ahead.
The ballot on demand, that it was, explain how that is available, one, and two, how it worked.
Yeah, what percentage of precincts did we have ballot on demand this time?
It was over 50%.
Yeah, so almost 50% of the precincts. Traditionally, we've pre-printed ballots, and we've had to kind of guess on how many people are going to show up to vote, and that's always been kind of a thing we don't like, right? Plus, you also have to ensure the ballot custody, and the chain of custody on those ballots is very tight. With ballot on demand, it's much like the early voting in person, where you walk in and you present your ID, and we print your ballot on site right there in front of you. There's no confusion from election workers, especially when you have an election where there's multiple ballot styles sitting there, making sure that the right ballot gets to the right person who checks in. And with ballot on demand, you check in and you get your specific ballot printed to you right then and there. And so we don't print extra ballots. We don't have confusion about election workers possibly handing the wrong ballot to somebody. And there's just a lot of security and cost savings that go along with ballot on demand. So we're really happy. We're going to continue to expand that and hopefully get there very soon for every precinct in the county.
Well, you might add, by the way, that how many different types of ballots did we have?
There was 353 different ballots in this election, and that's actually a small number. We've had much greater than that in other elections.
And people need to understand that this is why we do ballot on demand, is because there's so many variety of ballots. If you're in one precinct, you're not gonna get the same ballot as another precinct. You may not be in the same cemetery district, or you may not be in the same fire district. I mean, those are the things that require all these different types of ballots. And so ballot on demand actually is a cost savings and it's a convenience to the taxpayer.
Yep.
Just, so, how do we ensure security on that kind of thing? Because then it's the machines that are the critical factor in terms of printing.
This question is a great question, Commissioner. It always comes up. The ballot side of things, when we're issuing ballots and we're ensuring someone is properly registered, that is a completely different system than the system that we use to tally the ballots. And the system that we use to tally the ballots is not connected to the internet. It's not talking with anything else, right? It's all based off the paper ballot that's produced from this other system. The other system allows us to ensure that someone is not able to vote twice, right? And if they request an absentee ballot, it's tied in instantaneously so that we can know if someone turned in an absentee ballot and they show up to a precinct, we automatically know they've already voted. And vice versa, if they vote in a precinct and an absentee ballot shows up later from that same person, we reject the absentee ballot because, again, they've already voted. So all that system's tied to each other. The ballot custody is just an added perk from that system because now we don't have to track all the different ballots that are out there. We know that we're just producing them as needed when people show up to the precincts.
And another question.
Go ahead.
We have those cages that we delivered explain how that works in terms of the security of the materials, whether it's a ballot or whether it's actually the equipment.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Saul explain that one on the cages. That's kind of his baby, so.
Thank you, Clerk Triple, Commissioner. So the cages themselves are obviously locked. The chief judges are given their keys to their cage on the Thursday or Friday before the election. So they are the ones with sole custody of that key. In addition, they're also GPS tracked, so we know exactly where they are. We can track their deliveries, notify the chief judge of the polling place that they're ready to receive the equipment and take it out. Within the cage themselves, and depending on the type of equipment, there are various other seals that are tracked, as well as ballot transfer logs to ensure that they are checking in that they received the right number of ballot stock or pre-printed ballot, depending on the type. Both of those require dual custody, so it requires signature of both the chief judge and the assistant chief judge. And then that is also tracked coming back. So the cages themselves are secure. The chief judge is the only one with the key to that. They are tracked, so we know they're outbound and inbound. And then all the equipment and ballots are actually tracked separately as well. So our chain of custody documentation is, in some ways, extremely thorough in terms of we know exactly what's going out, what should be coming back. All those seal numbers are tracked. And if there is any concern about it, we have a process in place of how to audit that precinct, both on election night and afterwards. And that has been completed in this go around before we presented you with these results for canvassing.
And the ballot verifier, you might want to explain that for people
Yeah,
after the fact, because people can actually go in and do some things that we couldn't do before.
Yeah, the ballot verifier has been a huge boon for our county in terms of transparency and trust. Everybody can see every single ballot that's cast, the actual image, and how the tabulation machines actually tabulated them. And so there's no doubt on whether or not they're reading the actual ballots correctly. It also is a window into voter behavior. That conversation just keeps coming up. For instance, why would someone vote for a ballot measure and not vote for me as a candidate? Well, because our voters are very wide range and discriminating on a whole host of issues. It's very hard to, it's not hard, but it's not the majority by any means, monolithic voters where they're voting for one thing all the way down the ballot. There's a lot of discriminating voters out there that will pick candidates and issues based off different things that are happening in their lives, and that's kind of fun to see in the ballot verifier as well. But the biggest boon for that is just trust. We're not hiding anything. Everybody can see everything in our process. They can see every ballot, and it's helped us a lot with candidates in particular. While we didn't have any automatic recounts in it, there were close races. And normally we get questions, and I only got one question from one candidate about undervotes. And so it's been good for people to kind of go, okay, Ada County's doing it right. Now, our ballot verifier for this election will probably be published in maybe another week and a half for people to go on and look, but it's well before the contest period. So if someone does find something that they don't like, they have the opportunity to contest it.
Great. Any other questions?
No, Mr. Chairman, I just thought it was good because we're gonna be having a motion here shortly on the canvas, so explain the canvas process as well.
The canvas, in Idaho, we've become accustomed to getting results very quickly. In many jurisdictions across the country, while they may predict the outcome, they don't actually officially say this is the winner of a contest until the canvass period is over. That's largely due to historical processes that have taken days to kind of recover, but it also gives us a window in order to audit ourselves, to make sure that we haven't missed anything on election night, and to make sure that we have a board that oversees our process as elections to go, yeah, we feel comfortable with what you did, so we're going to certify those election results. There's a lot of positives behind the canvass period that we have. The biggest one being that, it's an independent group of individuals that are going, yep, those are the official results.
Mr. Chairman, we
go ahead.
have, that's some of the stuff we have, and we've had this for a while to review it as well. Just so the public understands, we have a very, very tight run ship in terms of the elections in Ada County, so we appreciate all the work you do.
We appreciate the support from this board. You've been outstanding in allowing us to do things that have helped increase the trust and transparency of our elections here in Ada County, so
That
thank
was our
you.
objective all along.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
regarding the canvas, have you received any protests from anyone about the results? And were any results close enough to trigger an automatic recount?
No, there wasn't anything close enough to trigger any kind of automatic recount or even raise the question of a recount. But there were some questions, like I said, the undervotes in some of these contests. As you get further down the ballot, like in a fire district, there was quite a few undervotes. And some of the candidates, well, one of the candidates in particular asked me about that. And we were able to have a very healthy conversation about it's just voter behavior when people show up. But if that person has continued questions on it, Ballot Verifier is going to allow them to go in and look at every single ballot cast in their contest to see exactly how people voted.
Well, and in that regard, just looking at one city, Garden City, for instance, you only had 25 undervotes in the mayor's race, and you had 430 undervotes in the city council race, and that's a pretty good example of people are just, if you don't know that much about it, or if you don't know who they're going to vote for, that's when they don't vote. That's the undervote,
That's correct.
and there's a number of reasons why they actually do it. But there's a good example as to why that occurs and how it occurs.
Yep.
Because it's the same people who were voting. 430 of them didn't vote, had 430 undervotes in the city council, and only 25 in the mayor's race.
Yep.
Well, it raises an interesting question about the cities that have the vote for two, because if you only like or know one candidate, voting for a second candidate could potentially hurt your candidate. So it's
Could be some of the same undervote in that regard. Okay, any other questions or discussion? Thank you, clerk's office, thank you, Saul, for running a well-run election. We didn't have any issues, and we certainly appreciate all the transparency that we this reason we allowed the major reconstruction out there, so that we could have major transparency. Good, thank you. Okay, I would accept a motion on the certify the canvas for the consolidated elections.
I move pursuant to Idaho Code 34-1410, which requires the Board of County Commissioners to canvass election returns, to certify the election results as presented for the November 4th, 2025 consolidated election for the Boise City Municipal Election, Eagle City Municipal Election, Garden City Municipal Election, Kuna City Municipal Election, Meridian City Municipal Election, Star City Municipal Election, West Ada School District Trustee Election, Kuna School District Trustee Election, Eagle Fire Protection District Commissioner Election, Star Fire Protection District Commissioner Election, Dry Creek Cemetery Commissioner Election, Meridian Cemetery Commissioner Election, Boise City Special Municipal Levy, City of Meridian Levy, and Star Fire Protection District Budget Levy. I move to approve and certify the consolidated election results as listed.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Is there any further discussion? Could you read that again? No, that's good. We got it all.
I'll be slower this time.
Okay. No, this is one of the more important things we do is to certify these elections, because then they get their certificate and then they get sworn in January.
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to comment, reading through all of those, there was a time in Idaho history where those were all separate elections. And so.
Oh, I remember that well.
By consolidating them, I think we've done a great service for our citizens in terms of cost savings as well as awareness of when elections are happening. And so I think that's another great benefit for the Ada County in consolidating these.
Yeah, that's one of the great things that the Idaho legislature's done. And by the way, that took them a long time to get that done, even because there was so much opposition to, some of these organizations wanted to keep doing their own elections. And this makes it easy, and anyway, that's great. Well, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Motion carries. Another item up, you gonna present that?
contingency?
Yes, for the contingency funds, the arbitrage. I think, Mr. Chair, you're aware of it, for the edification of the public and obviously others. When the funding was set up for the coroner's office, there was some tax requirements associated with it to give us the structure that they had. And part of that was we weren't able to show an increase in revenue based off those funds that are sitting in the bank at any given time of more than 1.25%. Well, because of the delay in the CAT scan purchase, we've had a large amount of money sitting in the bank, and the interest rates have allowed us to earn more than the
You mean that
1.25.
free CAT scan?
Yeah, the free CAT scan has put us over that limit, which triggers IRS implications. So because of that, we were having to pay not only taxes, but a penalty on that with the IRS. And that wasn't foreseen. So we're asking for the board to consider funding that money out of contingency from this year. Hopefully, once that money goes towards the CAT scan, we won't have this problem going forward, but that's one of the structures in place for us to secure this type of funding with the tax implications, so.
Okay, so this is actually a function of the entire bond issue, correct?
That's correct.
And how much was that bond issue?
28,450,000.
28,450, okay. And when was that bond issue issued?
October of 2020.
October of 2020. Okay. Okay, so it should be noted that nobody on this board was around then. There's a previous board that went into this, agreed to this bond issue with a lease agreement.
That's correct.
It's a bond, a lease. Any questions from the board?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I just have one point clarification. The amount of interest that we can earn over the stated bond interest is 0.125.
Oh, 0.125, sorry. I got my decimal wrong.
It's very nominal. It's,
Okay, well, on 28 million, that's a lot of money.
$21,720.98.
There you go. So how much of it is penalty and interest?
The whole thing.
The whole thing?
28.
Yeah, so you're capped at whatever you say you're gonna pay the issuer on the bond, that 0.125 that Clerk Tripp referred to. So just because you have cost benefit, they'll allow a little deviation from that, but anything over that means they're issued as tax-free bonds. You are not allowed to earn more interest than what you're paying your issuer.
Right.
So anything over that dollar amount, the whole thing, it has to be submitted to the IRS.
And we had some costs associated with coming up with that dollar amount, didn't we?
It's roughly $5,600 to have the arbitrage calculated. It's very complicated, as you can imagine. And I know you've had experience in the past, Mr. Commissioner.
Yes. I'm
Mr.
familiar
Chair,
with
it's a very
arbitrage.
complicated process.
Yes, and anyway, we had to pay Ide Bailey to do the calculations, and they will actually prepare the return to go to the IRS, won't they?
That is correct.
And that's the 5,600.
That is correct.
And so the total amount of contingency fund use is,
$27,600.
and that includes 5,600.
That is correct, yes.
All right, any other questions from the board?
No, I appreciate the fact that we clarified that for the public so that they understand why we're using contingency fund. That's what contingency funds are for these kinds of situations that we don't anticipate and haven't anticipated.
Well, and I think it was important, that's the reason I wanted to point that out, it was important that this board did not enter into this obligation, and yet we are required to take care of it, and which is what we're doing. Okay, good enough.
And thank the staff for
Sure.
diligence of monitoring it and making sure that we are in compliance with the law.
Yes, and this is not an unusual law when you deal with tax exempt bonds. This is, that's my experience of it. I've been involved in selling millions of dollars in tax exempt bonds, and there's always this limitation. It's 0.125. The organization I worked with was 0.1. So they didn't have as much flexibility as you have in this case. And that was a long time ago, so it may have changed since then, I don't know. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I'll move to approve the use of contingency funds. Is that the right motion?
Yep.
As listed on the agenda.
I
And
second,
authorize the chair to sign.
I second the motion, and the full discussion regarding that is in the record.
Right, and it's the use of contingency funds to pay the Internal Revenue Service and to pay the cost of calculating the amount that needs to be paid to the Internal Revenue Service and for filing the form. That's what the contingency funds, and the amount is
27,600.
Okay, so we have that cleared up now as well. All right, so you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, and thanks for your diligent efforts in getting that calculated. We don't wanna be audited.
It's got its good moments, it's got its bad.
Oh, yeah. Okay, moving on, we have approval of a peddler solicitor's license. I'll accept the motion on that.
I move to approve the peddler and solicitor's license as listed on the agenda.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have catering permits. We have a catering permit, a new license and license transfer. Is there any question or discussion on any of the license? Catering permits, alcohol licenses. I'll accept the motion.
I'll move to approve the catering permits and licenses as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have a grant award from the Bureau of Land Management for the fiscal year 2025, Idaho Good Neighbor Authority Grant. Who wants to talk about that? Weed control? Go ahead, tell us a little bit about it.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you, and good morning. The directed announcement that we received from BLM to control noxious weeds on federal ground, that's what you're hopefully approving today. That is a directed announcement in lieu of the opportunity that was deleted previously this year under the current administration for our standard BLM grant. So this was sent directly to us by BLM. The Good Neighbor Authority allows these funds to be used to control things like noxious weeds and invasive species on federal ground where that might affect neighboring properties. And here in Ada County, we have a lot of folks who neighbor against BLM ground. So we'll use those funds to control noxious weeds in those areas.
Okay. Any questions on this?
No, just, Mr. Chairman, just a comment, I think this is fantastic that we have this, 'cause we have so much federal land in the state of Idaho and in Ada County. Most people don't realize we have over 300,000 acres of federal land in Ada County.
We have a lot.
How they manage or mismanage that land directly affects the private property owners adjacent to it. So this is one way that they're allowing us to help them do that work where they would have to actually hire employees and do a lot of extra work. So it's actually cheaper for the federal government to do it this way. And it's easier for us to have it managed at the local level. So I applaud the fact that we have this opportunity.
Okay. I'll accept the motion.
I move to approve the grant award number 2501-B as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, the motion is approved to approve grant 2510-B. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. Now we have the claims journal. Any question or discussion on the claims journal? I'll accept a motion.
I move to authorize payment of claims on the claims journal dated November 7th, 2025.
I second the motion.
Okay. You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have the Treasurer's Office. We have with us our distinguished treasurer, Ms. Beth Mon.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. When you were speaking earlier about elections and some of the cost savings and benefits from the consolidated elections, it made me think of property taxes. So under Idaho law, the county treasurer is required to prepare a consolidated tax bill. And so that's what we're doing right now is we spent this weekend, yesterday, and many more days to come is for each parcel identifying the 2025 property taxes due to each city, to each school, to fire district. So we will take all of those taxes due and consolidate those. And so we're hoping that perhaps starting next week, as early as next week, but no later than the 4th Monday of November, we will send those 2025 consolidated property tax bills out to taxpayers. So that's our huge priority right now. I don't have any numbers to share with you because we're still balancing them all, but we'll have that soon. Meanwhile, as we're wrapping that up, we'll hand it off to Tim to give the monthly investment report for October.
Mr. Chairman, just as a follow-up to what the treasurer just said, that whole list here that we read is exactly what she's talking about. Each one of those are a taxing district, and they would also have to have independent bills if we didn't have this consolidated process.
And you can't forget the cemetery districts.
That's right. Yes.
And all the different ballots are as a result of that. Anyway, thank you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Today, we're going to look over our first month of our new fiscal year, and we're doing something a little different today. Rob is projecting up on the screen, so we could look at that if we'd like, or also people in attendance or online can kind of see what we're talking about.
Sure.
So right up on the screen now, we have our portfolio summary, and this just kind of rolls everything up based on the category of the investment, shows the total amount invested in there. And as you can see, the market value of our investments are just under $300 million as of October 31st. And to the left, it describes the various investments. So LGIP, the local government investment pool, and the DBF, which is housed at the state treasurers, and then the various different types of agencies, mortgage-backed securities, municipal bonds, money markets, etc. So we're looking forward to the December 9th and 10th Fed meeting. That's our next meeting. There's been a lot of talk about that. And I looked online and just kind of got a glimpse of what the odds are, the percentage odds for 25 basis points or for 50 basis points. And the latest data I found was as of November 5th, so fairly recent. The market's suggesting a 67 to 70% chance of a 25 basis point cut, which is what we'll likely see, and a 50 basis point cut, the odds of that is about 22.5%. So I'd like to focus now on page 6.
Before you get there, you might point out that you have two columns here, one market value and one par value. The market value is really sort of incidental because we don't ever accept market value. We get paid the full par value because we don't buy and sell these securities. And that's the reason. And market value will decrease as increase as the interest rates decrease.
That's exactly right, Mr. Chair. So that's a correct assessment. We don't pay a whole bunch of attention to that. It's sort of similar to, you buy your home today and the market value is going to go up or down based on, but if you're not selling it, you shouldn't concern yourself with the daily fluctuations.
Well, I want to point that out just in case if anybody's watching, saying, well, what's the difference in the market value and the par value, and how does that affect us as a county? Well, it doesn't affect us as a county. This is just informational only, because the markets have changed a little bit since the par since we purchased the securities, and that's why the market value is a little different than the par value. But the par value is the only thing we have to worry about.
Yeah, and the par value is what we will get returned to us at the maturity.
Exactly, that's the point.
So focusing now on page 6, we like to look at that each month because this tells us exactly the amount of interest we received in a given month based on the types of investments that these are invested in. And I know we've talked about this in the past, and we've done a bit of a projection to see where we might expect the total interest received in our fiscal year. And that was 9.3 million is sort of what we expect based on the information we had available at the time. And if you see for October, we have 974,000, a little bit more than that. If you extrapolate that out and multiply it by 12, it's 11.6, which is more than what we projected. But we are expecting rate cuts, and with rate cuts, we'll see a fall, especially in the heavy cash type investments like the LGIP.
Right. And that's something that will change depending on what the feds do, because that's strictly a function of how much our interest
Mr. Chairman, that's correct. Some of our investments that we're locked in on bonds, we know exactly what those are gonna pay. We don't intend to sell them, and so we can calculate that to the penny. The variable ones, the money market, the LGIP, and
For instance, the biggest investment we have is LGIP, but the mortgage-backed securities is the second biggest, and that doesn't change with the interest rates.
that's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
So now, I'd like to move on to page 10. And this is the maturity report, and this shows we had one maturity in October, and that was a Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corp bond, and we received about a little over 5 million, 5.5 million. And we reinvested that. And if we go to the very next page, page 11, it shows that we took advantage of purchasing a Fannie Mae mortgage-backed security. You'll notice the yield to maturity on that says 3.733. And some of the things that this one particular report doesn't show you is the duration. You can see the maturity date on this is 10/25/2039. However, more information we get when we purchase these is the duration. And the expected duration of this particular mortgage-backed security is just 3.8 years. So we expect to get that back to us in 3.8 years, the full investment. It varies slightly, but they can do some very complicated calculations that shows the way it's trending, how much they expect for pay downs and so forth, how seasoned this particular mortgage-backed security is. And at the time of purchase, this investment paid 61 basis points over similar treasuries. So this turned out to be a good purchase for the county. And
And as interest rates decrease, this could even be paid off more rapidly, because these are mortgages.
that's right. If it decreases enough, then those mortgages that are held in here,
Could be paid off.
they could be, yeah. And so every month we get pay downs because people overpay their monthly payments. Sometimes they'll move, they'll sell, or completely refinance if rates drop.
Rates go low enough, yeah.
And finally, for this month, we just want to turn to the next page, since this is a new thing we're doing here, showing this, and we've talked about the summary page. This one is a good visual representation to show a pie chart that really shows where our investments are held and what percentages are they held in. And so this represents the roughly nearly 300 million portfolio and where the county has those invested in. What type of instruments.
You might want to explain briefly what LGIP is, for
That's
anyone that's listening.
Sure, that's the local government investment pool. And maybe we should go back to the first page, the summary page.
You can see exactly how much, because you got 42%, but that amounts to 128 million.
Yeah, that's 128 million. If you notice over to the far right columns there, it says days to maturity 1. It's not actually maturing in 1 day, but for cash type investments, our Simpro software that we use to house our investments and do these calculations, any cash instrument like that has a 1 day maturity for the report's sake. And the reason for that is because this money is completely liquid to the county. Every day we're doing a calculation to determine the needs of the county. If we have excess funds in our bank, we'll move it over there because we're getting a nice yield. If you look at the yield in the far right column, it's 4.313, and that's much more than you're gonna get in a bank account.
Explain why we get a higher yield.
Well, we get a higher yield because these, it's not just sitting in a checking account, it's actually invested in short-term debt instruments, and they can range from typically about 95% of everything there is 1 day to 90 days, and it can be beyond that. So because they're invested in short-term instruments, like 30-day instruments, commercial paper and that sort of thing, repurchase agreements, then they pay more interest. And so it's great for the county and other government entities to be able to use the LGIP because they've got access to the cash, but they get a higher yield than they otherwise would just keeping it in like a savings account.
And because it's the state treasurer that runs this LGIP account, and it's the state, they have a little more flexibility on their investments than we do at the county.
They do, that's right. However, in the LGIP, they're not investing in anything that would be considered risky or they could move drastically in a short-term environment. They'll use other instruments for that, like the DBF, the Diversified Bond Fund. For entities who want to invest in that fund, they might consider, if it's 3 to 5 years, that may be a good choice for them. Because that can fluctuate, and those are locked in with longer duration instruments.
Yeah, go ahead.
Couple of things I think since you have this on and people can see it. One is, why do we have so much money invested?
In the LGIP?
No, in anything. Why do we have so much money available that we can invest?
Well, this is money that belongs to the county as we collect tax revenue.
That's what
The tax revenue comes in, so as
And it only comes in two basic
two
tranches.
big buckets, and as the treasurer mentioned earlier today, we're getting ready to send those tax bills out, and so as we collect those funds, it'll be collected, and once the county receives their portion, which is about 20% of everything collected, that money will go into the LGIP, and we like to keep it there because it's earning higher yield, but it's also available for the county expenses.
We have ongoing expenses, but we only get revenue basically twice a year.
That's right. So we basically put it there, and we're using it over the course of the year to pay all the county
And somebody might see
needs.
that and say, well, why do you have so much money invested? I think it's useful for people to understand that we only get revenue on basically twice a year. And we have to save that, invest it so that we can actually use it
Some of the
during
revenue
entire year.
are grants and so forth as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't show up in here,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
Commissioner, if I may add to that, I just want to make clear that these are not purely like excess funds.
Right.
These are dedicated to specific funds. So we here have broken it out by like asset category of how we've invested them. But another way to look at them is how they have already been dedicated to specific county funds for specific purposes. So it's the same pot of money that we have between the clerk's office and the treasurer's office. We slice it a little bit differently in how we view the information. But just wanted to clarify, these aren't excess, these are dedicated to specific funds.
All right, any other questions? Okay. Go ahead, are you done?
that's it.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you very
Any
much.
questions? Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay. Moving on, we have the approval of several minutes of different meetings. Any questions or issues with any of the minutes of the various meetings? If not, I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the 4 minutes as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we have a couple of change orders from operations. The Ada County Landfill Education and Outreach Center project, a decrease of $10,000. Anybody want to talk on that one? You want to say anything about that? Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, it's real simple. The project is wrapped up and this is unused contingency funds that will be returned to the budget.
Great. Okay, I'll accept a motion on that.
I'll move to accept change order number 2 as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the document on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. How about change order number 1 to ARPA Ada County landfill groundwater treatment expansion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, no difference. Once again, the project is complete, and this is ARPA funds. And this is decreasing the project value by $90,256.
Okay. All right, I'll accept a motion.
Just as a note, these all three are decreases, and this is, again, kudos to how we manage funds, even though the program, when we have it available, it goes
They
back.
come in under budget.
They all came under the budget, so I would move to approve change order number 1 to agreement number 15659 as listed on the agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Are we
carries.
still able to spend that 90,000 ARPA money that's returned?
Well, we could, it'd have to go through a process. And,
We're not past the deadline to start a process.
yeah, we are past the process.
For a
We
new
can't-
project.
We can't do any new process, but we can amend another one if it doesn't structurally change.
Right. In reality,
And that might happen, who knows? Okay, now we have change order number 1 to ARPA design build, Ada County landfill leachate treatment project. Go ahead, same thing. Is this those fans?
Mr. Chairman, it is those fans.
Yeah. Okay, any questions on this? I sure hope this works out, cause we spent close to $3 million on leachate removal last fiscal year. And this is hopefully to decrease that substantially.
right, this is another, again, kudos to our staff at the landfill to look for ways that we can actually do that, so we don't have to have so much money spent on something we have to do, but.
That's right. I'll accept the motion on change order number 1 to the ARPA design build.
I'll move to approve change order number 1 as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now we have 3 interim agreements at Expo Idaho. They're listed on the agenda. Is there any questions or discussion on the 3 interim agreements at Expo Idaho? If not, I'll accept the motion.
I move to approve the 3 interim event agreements at Expo Idaho as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
Second that.
You've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we have 5 Barber Park Education and Event Centers agreements, 5 different events. Any questions or discussion on those 5 events at the Barber Park Education and Event Center? Hearing none, I'll accept the motion.
I'll move to approve the Barber Park Education and the Event Center agreements as listed on the agenda and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have 10 agreements. Again, we're still going through the renewals. Some of these are renewals. There may be a couple of new ones. Any questions or issues on any of the 10 agreements?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
We've got one for landfill for flare maintenance services. I don't know if anybody knows, is that maybe to help deal with the odor issues that are coming off the flares?
No.
Mr. Chairman, this is Debbie Scott. The John Zink agreement is for flare maintenance.
Okay. It's for flare maintenance.
Just normal maintenance, correct?
That is correct.
Yep. Any other questions on any of the agreements?
Mr. Chair, I might know that there are 11, not 10 agreements. Just want to make sure that was clarified.
Well, I have written 10 here.
There are 11 listed.
Okay. All right. 11. All right. Any other questions or issues? Hearing none, I'll accept a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the agreements as listed on the agenda, 11 agreements as listed on the agenda, and authorize the chair to sign the appropriate documents on behalf of the board.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next we have indigent services. I'll accept a motion on the weekly indigent items.
I move to accept the recommendation of the indigent services staff as listed on the summary of cases dated November 12th, 2025, and authorize the chair to sign the documents on behalf of the board.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Any other business needs to be brought before the board while we're here? Hearing none, we'll be adjourned. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you. Well, good morning. Today is the 12th day of November. The time is 11 o'clock. The board is in session, acting as the board of Ada County Emergency Medical Services District. All three commissioners are present. We also have with us
Elizabeth Duncan, Communications.
and Real IT Guy. Are there any changes to the agenda, Madam Clerk?
They're not.
No changes to the agenda. We have one item of unfinished business. Well, apparently we're not gonna do this.
We're moving to remove it from the agenda.
All right, let's remove, well, I asked if we have, okay, let's remove that from the agenda.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we remove the listed unfinished business from the agenda.
Second.
Okay. You've heard the motion. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
So we moved the unfinished business from the table and from our agenda. Our next item is new business, claims journal. I'd accept a motion on the claims journal.
I'll move to approve the claims on the claims journal dated November 7th, 2025.
I second the motion.
Okay, you've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'll ask Ryan to give us an update on the EMS.
Everything's going perfect.
Everything's, well, we're still getting our ambulances painted.
And the new one was in the Veterans Parade. The
Yeah.
Newly painted one.
That's right.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Yeah. Okay, is there any other business needs to be brought before the, board? Hearing none, we're adjourned. We are adjourned.